We've got a super hot topic. Like, I really feel like I have talked a lot about Chat GPT, and a lot of you all said that you missed part one. Shame on you. So you should not miss our lives, because we get it. We get down in these lives. And so I did an actual demo last week, and I actually did it for our Opus members, a demo. So just to make you guys just a little bit jealous. So earlier today, I did a training deep dive on how to do how to create custom itineraries using ChatGPT. And it was a really good lesson. So kudos to those people who are in my who are part of our operational pillars of success community. Love showing up for you all here. But I also love doing this weekly. So last week, if you did miss our first, is it, I guess, part one of our 3-part series, because I'm going to talk about it one more time next week. Last week, we talked about 3 ways that you can increase your sales. Really, it doesn't matter if you're using a tool or not. There's generally 3 ways that you can increase your sales. And one of them is to get more clients, right? You can get more people buying your fill in the blank, right? So if you're selling Dubai, you're selling Jamaica, you're selling Mexico, just get more people in front of more people so you can sell, right? So if you can increase the volume, that's going to increase your sales. And so we talked uniquely about how you can do that through developing relationships. So social media, if used for good and not evil, if you use social media as a way to attract strangers to your brand, to your business, by giving them a stranger offer, is what we talked about. We talked all last week about how you can use ChatGPT to do that very thing, create stranger offers based on particular ideas on who you serve. So I walked you all through how to generate that. And I had somebody come in my inbox just yesterday and told me that they created their first ebook using ChatGPT. And that's exactly the kind of stuff that you can do. So if you know who you want to get out of town, you know the area of specialty that you want, you know who you want to specialize in, and what you want to do, what kind of topics, what kind of problems they have, you can easily use ChatGPT to help you generate ideas. And so the number 2 way to increase your sales is through increasing your average ticket price. And I call it ticket price, but your price. So if you've got a trip that costs $2,000, how can you increase the value, the price of that trip from $2,000 to $2,500 to $3,000? We're going to talk today about how you can do that. And then the third way that we talked about how you can increase sales is through multiple streams of income, right? So if you have other things that you are selling on an ongoing base, that's also a way for you to increase your sales. So we'll talk more about that next week. So today we're going to talk all about ways that you can increase your average price of your trips in a way that doesn't feel icky, right? Sleazy. Being a car salesman in the way, no shade to anyone who's a car salesman, but I mean, even the way you buy cars. I was looking for a car. One of our cars is had its last legs, and I digress a little bit. And I was like, buying a car is nothing like it used to be 10 years ago. I went online, and there are all these different online there was no car dealer guy, trying to sell me everything that I didn't want. It was really a pleasant experience. So same thing here is that you can actually add value to your packages without it feeling sleazy to you or to your clients. And they're going to be excited to do that. And we're going to talk about how you can do that with ChatGPT. So before I get started, let me introduce you to who I am. If you are new to this channel or new to me and you're new inside of our group, welcome. I am so excited to have you here live with me. My name is Sunday Gardner, and I come here every single week talking all things launching and operating a successful and profitable travel business. And there are 3 ways that you can get more of a tonight type of things. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel because all of my videos are there. So if you'd like to binge watch multiple videos about the launching and operating of a successful travel business, join me and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's Online Travel Boss TV. And then the second way, it's funny, I have to write. The second way that you can find me is on our school, Online Travel Boss School, and that is school.onlinetravelboss.com. And we have a plethora of different topics relative to launching and operating a travel business. What hot right now is if you are in search of a CRM tool, Travel Joy. I just completed Travel Joy training at the end of last year, and we still have that training available. And then the number 3 way to do that, if you are looking for some more intense, quick help that you can actually get your goals down quicker, you may want to schedule a call with me. And so all you have to do is reach out to me and we can schedule a fast action call. All right, enough about that. Again, I'm super excited to be here tonight. And so what we're going to be going over is the strategy around what you need to do to things. I like to do things in the denomination of odds, right? So it'll be 3 this, 5 that, 7 of this. So we're going to talk about 3 ways that you can increase your average package price. So somebody calls you up. So while you guys are watching, tell me, somebody type in the comments your latest request that you've received from a client. Tell me the destination, tell me a little bit about them. Let me hear it. I'd like to know. So in my example earlier today, I did Hawaii and I did Dubai. So I know that there's a little bit of a lag between when you guys put your responses and me seeing them. So I'm going to keep going and then I'm going to come back to that. So if you get somebody that says, I want to go to fill in the blank, right? There's a process that you all should be following when you take in that request. And really those first 2 steps associated with you taking in that request is really going to lean itself to what we're going to talk to now. If you understand what your client wants, not only in destination, but also in experience, you've done a fabulous job of gathering their requirements, interviewing them to get more importance, the secret sauce type of things is what I call it. Secret sauce about really what they want that experience to do. Selling them more becomes so much easier. So if you don't do a good job of that on the front end, coming up with these ideas may be a little bit problematic, but we'll even talk about how you can use ChatGPT to help you in that regard. So thank you guys for the examples. We'll be using those examples throughout the course of this conversation. So what I'm really talking about is not what you do to get the requirements. It's really, you've got the requirements, you were sitting in front of your computer and you were trying to design Maui. Like I can actually do, there's like a piece of hair in my mouth. I could actually talk about Maui because I just spent like an hour talking through Hawaii. But it doesn't matter. Alaska, Jamaica, I've got a client. Oh, Michelle, I was like, I just talked to somebody who's going to Alaska. Michelle, you're going to do in Alaska. I think, I don't remember if you said you're doing a cruise or not, but I'm going to use you, Michelle, as an example, because I actually was just, I just listened in November with the Alaskan Tourist Board. We should probably have a conversation, Michelle, now that I think about it. I meant to mention that to you yesterday. But nonetheless, Alaska. Now, you may be thinking, I'm going to do a cruise. Or maybe I'm going to do, most people do cruises when they go to Alaska, but they actually have an amazing rail and land packages that you can consider. Again, I digress. But what I want you to be thinking about is you're sitting in front of your computer and you're ready to design. You've got all their wants and desires and everything that they want. And you put together this itinerary that says, hey, we're going to do a 7-day cruise to Jamaica, Maui, Alaska, right? London, not so much. I don't think you can cruise into London. But you're going to put together this package. How can you increase that average price of the package, right? So if choice number 1, let's say, is $2,000 per person, how do you get somebody to select $2,500 or $3,000? How do you do that? So let's talk about ways to do that. The first thing is to upsell. And when most people think about upsell, they don't really think about travel as a way to upsell. Well, what do you upsell? What can I upsell? I don't know what to upsell. All I know is what the tour operator gave me, or all I know is what's available through the tour company. This is where you have a great opportunity to upsell. So what I mean by upsell is you want to add additional experiences to the trip. So let's say you are going to do a 7-day cruise, right? Now, cruising is a little bit difficult because usually you can't do the excursions. I'm going to do a land trip because land is so much easier than cruising. I mean, you can do some upsells with cruising. Well, an example of an upsell on a cruise would be 7-day cruise and a 3-day package. You were doing a cruise to you were doing, let's see, what did you guys say? You're doing a Maui cruise, right? You're doing, I think it's Norwegian, right? I think it's Norwegian that does the 7 islands of Maui in Hawaii. And so you fly into, I think, the big island, and then the cruise goes around all 7 islands, right? An upsell to that would be to do a 3-day stay in the port that they fly into, right? That would be an upsell. But listen, there's no longer a need to try and figure that out yourself. This is where ChatGPT could come in. You could actually use ChatGPT to give you some ideas on what to sell, right? So if you put in your destination and you say, I'm going to be in, I'm going to do a 7-day Hawaii trip. Give me some ideas on what I can upsell. Would you guys like to see that? Let's see what chat. I always love to do this live, right? Because I always get to see exactly what this is going to do. I was doing this a little bit earlier and I was playing around with this. So let me see if I can get my computer, because I wasn't even going to think about sharing, but I do think it's fun to share. So let's actually share and see what ChatGPT says on each of these examples. Would you guys like to do that? Well, if you don't, we're going to do it anyway. Share my screen. Let's see if I can. I think if I move this over here, that would mean that I would not be sharing. I'm going to share that. Okay, perfect. All right, so now I'm sharing my ChatGPT screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly what I just suggested that you do. So what we want to do is we want to get some upsell ideas for our 7-day cruise. So let's say I'm going to do a 7-day cruise to Hawaii. What are some upsell ideas for a travel advisor to increase the package price? And let's see what it says. I love doing this stuff. Look at that. So excursions, spa services, all right? Now, what ChatGPT doesn't know is that for cruising, it's a little bit more difficult. You can sell those things, but it's very difficult in a cruise. If you guys have sold cruising, right? Because the cruise line is effectively selling directly to your clients, right? So it's a little bit more difficult to do in a cruise upselling because oftentimes we don't get commission on those. But if you were doing a land trip and you were looking for something, that would be a really good idea. So when it comes to cruising, you really do need to do something external to the cruise, like adding a trip package. So let's do that. Now, ChatGPT doesn't know that, right? Because it's learning just like we had to learn how to be amazing travel advisors. It doesn't know me as well as I know the industry. So you've got to also be careful about the output and make sure that you're utilizing your due diligence as an advisor. But I'm going to say, thanks, thanks, but these aren't viable for travel advisors to upsell. I'm going to give me some examples before the cruise leaves. Cruise start date. right? So it's giving us some additional general things that are external, right? One of the things that it said was a pre-cruise hotel stay. These other things, again, are kind of general, but I'm going to actually explore because I don't know Hawaii. So I'm going to ask, like, what are some pre-cruise hotel recommendations in Hawaii I could offer? 4-star in one island. And I would have to tell it which island I was porting out, so I'm not gonna do that. But you guys kind of see, like, you can get some ideas. And listen, maybe you don't remember to do travel insurance every time, right? Maybe you're not doing flight upgrades, but we're gonna talk about this in terms of upgrades and how you can be offering upgrades in your packages. But certainly you wanna be doing that when you put together a package. So you kind of think of it just like when you book your airline tickets, right? You're not necessarily, I mean, when you search for air, you've got all these different airlines, but let's just say you decided on an airline, then with that you do. I don't personally like to give clients multiple hotel options. I like to do, and within the hotel, I'm giving options that they can pick on that are going to be opportunities for them to that I can upsell, right? Either experiences in the resort that they can get, a better room category that they can get, all of that become options for you to do. And if you don't know, if you haven't visited to these hotels and you don't know these hotels, this is where that research here using ChatGPT can help you with, right? So number one is really about upselling. How do you create your base package that allows an upsell opportunity that you can talk about during your walkthrough with your client or your proposal, however you guys are doing that? Use ChatGPT to help, sort of get your brain juices going. So what I did here is I identified what are some hotels that I could use as my pre-trip hotel for this particular excursion. I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're doing cruising and you are offering cruising, you should always include either a pre or post vacation stay at the port that they are staying at. Like, that should just be a general practice, because again, we have a very limited amount of the only wiggle room you have when it comes to cruising, unless of course you're using Virgin, because like the cruise, like you get 10% on the excursions. I think some of the cruise lines, not all of them even do that, but some of them you get commission, but you don't get any commission if they upgrade their dining experience. You don't really get anything if they do anything inside of the cruise proper. So that's why I say you want to try and extend their vacation. Ask if they can do an extended vacation, right? So if somebody's doing 7 days and they're flying, they might as well do an additional 2 or 3 days to experience the location that they're doing, right? Particularly if you schedule it properly, right? If they do a 7-day cruise, you could get them there maybe 2 or 3 days before. So that's the kind of thing that you really want to be thinking about. Let me know if there's any thoughts about the upsell. What kinds of things are you guys doing for upselling your trips currently? Put it in the comments, and then I'm going to respond later. But here, what I did is I got some hotel recommendations again, because I've never personally been to Hawaii. I wouldn't know what to recommend. And if I was going with the cruise, I would have just gone with whatever the cruise said, the 7-day cruise. But again, I want to have an opportunity. So now I've got these 5 hotels that I can investigate to add on. And as an upsell, I could create like a mini package prior to them doing their Hawaii. Now, Hawaii, unless you're on the Pacific coast, it's a long flight. Like, from Texas, it's an 8-hour flight. So from Georgia, it's probably longer, right? So if you're not on the Pacific side, anyone who's flying to Hawaii, that's a long flight. So naturally, getting them to actually do something pre or post, if it's a cruise, great idea. Now, if you're doing a land trip, for let's see, somebody said London, right? So when you're building out that itinerary, your upsell could be additional activities, right, that you could offer. So I'm just going to say for London, I'm just going to do a real quick sample itinerary. I'm going to do a 5-day, me a 5-day itinerary for London for a older couple that enjoys sightseeing and loves food and music. And then once I get that itinerary, then I'm going to ask, okay, what are some recommendations for upsell? Yeah, pre and post. So Michelle, you're already doing pre and post, and then private transportation to and from the hotel. Perfect upsell opportunities, because you certainly can capitalize on those particular vendors, particularly if you're working with vendors. You can charge if they do like a private transportation. So here I'm getting an itinerary here, and then once it's finishes, give me three ideas on how I can ideas for and I want to exclude the basic travel insurance and flight. So what I love about this whole guided tours, because this is really actually having me think about guided tours in a different way. So usually I include guided tours in all of my, I'm using a tour company that actually does the guided tours. But what you can find out is if you are just doing activities that aren't guided, then you could do an upsell to a private guided tour, right? Particularly if you can get them a part of an existing group, get the tour as a part of an existing group where they're not just doing it on their own, right? Because it really is better to do an activity in a group setting. So if you can get them a part of a group, that's something that you can do. Talk to the suppliers that they provide as examples and see what you can do on that idea. So dining experience, I like the whole idea of doing like custom or dinner reservations. I usually do dinner reservations too as an added. I'll usually do one, particularly if it's a special event. I'll do dinner reservations and include that in the package. But additional reservations when it's a land package, that's something that you can add as an upsell, making those arrangements, determining if there's a prepayment that could be done with that restaurant. I mean, that's something that you absolutely can consider as well. So think of this as you are creating a very custom experience for your clients. What are special ways that you can do it? And then using ChatGPT to help sort of get your brain thinking about what you can do at a particular venue. So, what this gave me some generic examples. What I want are specific examples in London, recommendations in London, some suppliers to review. And I kind of typed that, not the way that I would normally type it, but here what they're going to do is they're going to give you some recommendations on suppliers that, vendors that do what it is that they've just included in the itinerary for you to investigate. What I love is that what I used to have to do in my keyword searching, I can just now type in a natural language instead of going to Google, looking at site after site after site to see if it actually has what I'm looking for, right? I'm now able to more directed search now with getting results, and then I can take those results and then take them to Google. So now I've got these examples, right? I've not been to London, so I don't know who the Heston Blumenthal is, right? I don't have any vendors. I've got a couple of vendors that I've worked with for London, but I don't have a particular tour operator that I work with. So even when I'm talking with the tour operator and they give me recommendations, I still have to go and research them because I don't know what they are, right? This tool will help me make sense of what I'm getting back from the tour operators, and then also give the tour operators some additional ideas if they're stale and they're only doing the same old regular type of thing, right? So this is what you can do when it comes to upsell. All right. I pretty much think I killed the upsell bird with the stone. All right, so let's go to number 2. I really liked number 2, which is added value service, add value services. And so these are services like Michelle wrote, where she's doing private transportation to and from the airport and hotel. That's, on site. You could also do private transportation to and from their house to the airport. That's another service that you can provide. If you're doing concierge services while they're on trip, you've done an itinerary, but they want to book special, find uh, activities outside of the itinerary that you get. That's an additional service, right? These are standard. I always do trainings, and when I work with my clients, I talk to them about creating your own standard list of services, but no ideas. Like, well, what can I do now? Like, well, that one's not selling as well as I want, or maybe I don't know what to call it, right? Here's an opportunity for you to let your fingers do the walking and sort of get your brain again thinking. So give me some examples to the above itinerary. Just want to see generally what they're going to say. You guys, while I'm typing, let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking about this and how are you feeling. So some of the things that I've already said are things that they're also bringing. They're hearing me through my microphone. Because literally they said the same things, right? Personal concierge, private transportation, premium ticket packages, spa services, private tours. These are all things that you guys can add to your package. So again, what I'm talking about is you've got an itinerary, you've designed a package, but what are some of those additional plus things that you can add, right? So when you buy a car, right, you can get leather or you can get cloth, right? Same thing with your travel packages. You can get the standard, and my standard's pretty thebomb.com. But if you want it to be the bomb.diggitycom, right, here are some things that you can add to it. And here are the reasons why these are so amazing to do. So here's some ideas. So again, this is still pretty generic and I want some more specific. So I'm going to ask it to give me some examples. Give me some examples with a hook and description. Description for number 1. What a hook is a type that hooks people in based on the way that it's written. So it's got some emotion to it. So it just gave me a hook, right? So it gave me a hook here. Experience the ultimate and personalized service with your very own personal concierge. So now when you are talking about your concierge service, now you've got a great title to explain. Now you don't have to use a title. I'm just saying, here's a way that you can do that. And now you've got a description. Make the most of your trip to London with this added. The one is give me 3 things I can do in this service. So, and this is good, particularly when you've got land trips and they've got to arrange. I mean, it really does make things a lot easier now. But these are things that you can do as well. So what I really want you to think about, because I'm a rabbit hole chaser, so this is the reason why I love this tool. But if you have a hard time coming up with the ideas and the prompts, what I really want you to think about is you are creating a presentation to your clients to sell them a trip of their dreams. And at minimum, like I said, I'm not really interested in giving them three and all that because it's too much information. And I want I want it to be easy for them to swipe their credit card. Like I want it to be easy for them. I've laid before them. So I'm not really trying to bombard them with so many choices like Expedia.com, is get them as close to the experience that they so desire, because I understand what they want. And so giving them, the, the Honda, and then giving them the Bugatti version, that's for them to decide. I've given them a really good options, two options that meet their requirements, right? And based on what they told me, they should like. It's not they've got to pick one or the other. It's like, it's just how much of a great thing do they want, and I want to lay it before them. So this tool helps me with got a multiple, many of you guys have full-time jobs, you're doing this on the side, and then you sit in front of your computer after 7 o'clock and you're trying to think about, well, what other 5 things can I add to increase the ticket price? Becomes sometimes difficult to do. So, and then again, if you're using Google and you're trying to search and then you're trying to figure out all the lists, like you go to a trade show, then you come home with like 50,000 catalogs and you're like, I think I remember seeing something, right? This tool will help you sort of get it all organized. So I really, as I start to use this tool more, I do have a method by which I do research, but this really, I'm sort of chasing the rabbit. It's like, I've got this idea. How can I get it to the point that I've created as much value, right, for my clients that meet their requirements, but I've also created a profitability path for myself by ensuring that not only does it meet the requirements, but it's also, a plus plus. All right. So any questions on the value add? So I like these 3 trip planning, we're doing general trip planning, but there may be some trip planning on site. Like because many of the Europe trips seem to be this way where people can kind of make their own plan. You kind of give them a general itinerary. And so if you've got a client who maybe they want to do London and they want to kind of do it on their own terms, and they don't want all the frills, you can be like, listen, you get to London and you're like, I don't know what to do, right? Pay for this service ahead of time and we've got you covered. We'll make all your reservations, we'll organize your transportation, and we'll give you recommendations based on the dates that you're going to be there. Transportation, big thing that you can still do, even though there's Uber and Lyft, there's still opportunity to do transportation. And then another thing is high-end transportation, right? So not just transportation to activity, but also high-end travel transportation. I know many people who are renting yachts, doing that kind of thing. So that's something that you can consider as well. So number 2 is really about added value. So what value, because this is your service, as you are the person providing this service. So you're charging for that service in addition to whatever the cost of the actual event or thing that they're buying. So the fact that they have zero effort on their part, there's a value to that. And so you should be charging accordingly. All right, number 3 is, and you guys are probably already doing this, but what I love about using ChatGPT is so number 3 is about upgrades, right? So I always want to provide the standard and then the VIP, or maybe I call my standard VIP, but then I'm calling it like Platinum Plus Plus, right? Or something other than that. What I love is that you can now come up with some really cool names for your packages, and then that you can also come up with different names for the different offers that you have. So within a package, if you're going to do, let's say, London, you should have package option 1, which is maybe VIP or standard, and then a platinum or a higher level that maybe includes more tours, maybe a room upgrade or that type of thing. So really, number 3 is about upgrading the experience. So giving them an experience that meets what they've said, right? Maybe that's that 2000 experience, but then if they want to just a little bit more, they can get leather seats and air conditioned seats and all that other kind of great stuff. And you can provide that for them. There's great opportunity for you to mark up when you're adding all these plus items to your service, also depending on who you get them, who you source them from. But really, as a standard practice, when it comes to your average ticket price, really use the opportunity to upgrade. So how to use ChatGPT to do that? The way to do that is let's say I want to upgrade the room, but I don't know, like I gotta go, like I don't know, obviously all of you guys have gone and you've gone to a site and you've looked at room categories in a hotel, and it is like war and peace on room categories. There's one vendor that I use, and they literally have, like, you pick a hotel and there's like, I don't know, 50 different room categories. And I don't know if particularly if it's a hotel and a resort that I've never been to. I mean, heck, it's been some of the hotels I have been to. I've done site visits to, and I look at the room categories when I'm picking them. I don't know how to make heads or tails out of them. I got to go back to my notes and see which one is which. So use ChatGPT to help narrow that down for you. So if I'm gonna, let's say I'm just gonna pick this. I don't think I got hotel recommendations for here. So I'm going to do that for this London, is give me 3 5-star hotel recommendations for London. Because what I want to now do is I want to see what the room options are, and give me 2 hotels, and I'm going to ask for room categories or room options for. All right. And I did 5-star, right? So this is going to be top of the line, right? Everybody is familiar with the Ritz London. I'm going to do something. I don't know who this Lansbury is, right? So now I know exactly when I'm going to their site, which 2 that I want to look for. Like, I don't need 50. I don't need 50 examples. I don't need it is. Now I know exactly what that is. So does this hotel and so I may yes, and it does, right? Here. So now I've confirmed kind of what my standard is that I want, bed and breakfast for all of the hotel options. I've got 2 options here. Obviously, the 2 price points are going to be different here. And so I probably would put together a package with the deluxe, and then I'd put together a package with the premier, right? And I would be selecting the 2 with the breakfast option refundable, right? That's what I would be doing. So now this has cut my research time. I picked these 2 hotels. I could literally do this for all 3 of those options. I'd go and research it, see what the price points are, see what the vendors are that I would be, right? That's how I would do this. So now I'm able to now weed through, because the vendor sites are miserable. Not that I'm not trying to bash the vendors, but when it comes to trying to pick out rooms and going to a hotel site, like, I don't know which one. I literally spend over an hour looking at all of the different room categories of a hotel to try and figure out which one has the one thing that I want. I'm trying to figure out which options to pick. And so this really just cuts it down for me, right? So same thing for you to do that. So now you've got your upgrade paths here. What I want to know is spa. Does it have a spa? Have a spa? And do you know, I just like to ask it nicely questions. Do you know if it has spa packages. Now, it may not know about the packages because the data that's in here, they're only pulling back from 2021 and before. So anything after 2022, they're not going to be able to give you like pricing, exact price offers, and that, and they certainly can't give you availability. So you do still have to go to the site to be able to get that, but at least you can know if it does, right? So it does have a spa, and they tell you what the spa's name is, and it tells you to check directly with the hotel. So at least now I know what my options are to up, and what they would be. I would include maybe in the deluxe, I would include maybe some base activities when the itinerary that I got, but then in the platinum, I would include the, what did they call it? The premium king room would be the platinum, plus maybe some additional activities that were already included in the price, maybe some dinner, that's what I would do inside of that. So again, you've given your client the idea of them having a choice, but not bombarding them with a bunch of extraneous choices that they need to make. They either get package A or package B, right? And if they want to get more, or they could get it a la carte sort of, and you still optimized your profit, right? Because obviously you're going to price these that are going to be profitable. So that is how you do 3 different ways to increase your profit utilizing ChatGPT. And here's some other key things that I wrote down for you all, for you guys to think about. If you haven't seen me do this, one of the things too is the way that you sell, and you sell effortlessly, is maybe 3 ways, but one of them is you've got to be able to show the client on paper what an amazing experience that they're going to have. And we do that through either a proposal or a booking page, right? And so ChatGPT can help you write the copy for those proposals and descriptions. So, it's already given me some of these descriptions, but just like on that concierge service that I said, I wanted a hook and I wanted a description, you can ask ChatGPT once you get an itinerary to blow out your description. Have it write you a proposal page, a booking page with the description of each of the itineraries. No longer do I need to go to Viator and try and piece together their descriptions. I can literally build a description for each of my activities and name my days with some cool days. I can do all of that using ChatGPT. So definitely descriptions are a good way to use ChatGPT when it comes to presenting your content to your clients, which helps you sell. The other thing is creating FAQs. So if you've never been and you don't have, I've been to locations and I'm just really not the best. I have to sit down and think about what kind of common questions do clients ask of me, and then I write them. I literally can create an FAQ in no brain. So this London trip, and I want to do London, create me a FAQ of common questions my client might have for the trip, with question and recommended answers. And what I like this is that, again, it'll give you some great ideas on the types of questions. These are great things that you can include in your proposal, on your booking page, FAQs relative to the trips that you've got. So you've got them right here. So as you're building your proposals, your itinerary, right, at the end, I would recommend, if you're using ChatGPT too, at the end, just ask it. Like, I just asked you all this stuff. Like, give me a common FAQ that a client would have on that. And then it'll create your FAQ. Copy that, put it at the bottom of your proposal. Answers all your client's questions right there, right? Another way to make the FAQ questions, so if you have pricing and you've got pricing on that, give it that as a prompt. Say, my package number. So here's create a FAQ of common questions for my trip to London. assuming, package A equals this price and package B equals that price, and then it will include that as questions for you too. So the better you are at prompting, the better the results are that you have. But I do like this sort of general stuff because, again, this is more information. Again, that's not fluffy information, but information that's really going to help you sell the trip even more at the time that it's time to do the proposal. All right, I'm going to breathe because, man, that 50 minutes went by really quick. What do you guys, ChatGPT, Trevor, is such the flex. I agree. So how have you enjoyed this? Like, how have you guys enjoyed just this demonstration? And how do you feel like this is going to help you in terms of you getting your packages together and then also increasing that ticket price? Because at the end of the day, people will buy what you tell them to. People will do what you tell them to. So yeah, I use it all day, every day too, Trevor. It was down for me the other day and I was like, okay, bunk this. I'm getting Jasper. I'm getting Jasper AI. And I was like, I started using it. It's not nearly as cool as ChatGPT. Oh, you're absolutely welcome. So listen, if there's anything that you guys come up with, so for my Opus clients, people who are in the Opus community, and you guys know who you are because I just sent out the chat. I gave you some good prompts that you can use. I also gave you some additional ideas that you can use as well. But listen, there's a waiting list right now to get on to ChatGPT, I think. But it's worth it. So get yourself on the list because I suspect that this is not going to be free forever. I'm actually already paying for whatever they said that you'd have to pay. I already started paying for it. But it really just becomes a arsenal of tools that you can use to help you be better at what you do, to be to not only be better, but to do it with less effort, right? Because a lot of you guys are already thebomb.com, right? But it takes a lot of effort to be awesome. And so having tools that allow you to be great with less effort is really what I am all about. And so this tool is one of them. I have just another tool that's even better. And I sort of alluded to that for my Opus community. But technology, if utilized right, used for good and not evil, can really be like what I want you to really even think about now is and Trevor just wrote this and it's perfect, is let it do 80% of the load. I mean, I used to have a really heavy VA team helping me churn out content. Don't get me wrong. A lot of this content that ChatGPT does, I do go through and massage it for my voice. Take 100% of the content and just post it, right? Or I do have to edit it and do it, but it's still better than any writer that I had. I have hired many content writers, and this is still spitting out better content than all of the content writers that I have hired in the past, right? Because many of them know the travel industry. They don't know the idiosyncrasies of the way that we do business. So if I can prompt ChatGPT with my knowledge of the travel industry, the results that I get are amazing, right? Same thing for you all. Is just, if you can, I think somebody wrote, if you can learn how to prompt, that's going to be night and day difference. So if you really do a good job of getting what your client wants, get them to say, get them. So if you're not recording your discovery calls, I would recommend that you record them if you're not a good note taker, right? So you can get that language that your clients are using to describe what they want. Those become beautiful prompts for you to give ChatGPT. All right. I think I'm just reading what somebody says is that you can teach it how to work for you, even teach it your workflows. Absolutely. You absolutely can do that. Like I am learning how to create chatbots where, you know, when somebody is on my site or they're interacting with me on a particular platform, that instead of like me having to watch that platform and respond, it's actually, you know, it's interacting with ChatGPT based on what I taught it. So uh, this is really right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you can get on board with this type of technology, this is the kind of stuff that's going to set you apart, right? Because your ability to respond quicker, get back to the market, products and services in a quick way, right? The travel industry is very slow to respond, but we are the people on the ground, right? So we are the ones that are going to make the difference for our clients, right? So it's not the suppliers, it's not these big giant suppliers that are using archaic systems. It's you, right? It's you on the ground. And so if you can adopt technology and allow it to help you be better at what you do, you're going to get more clients. You're going to be able to sell more. And then that's what this is all for, right? Is to be able to do more of what you love to do. So Trevor, all day long, love books. So love to slide in my inbox. I definitely want to see what you've got because I am a huge reader. And if it's on this space and this topic, I would love to read about it. So listen, I hope that you guys are enjoying this series. It's love month, so I always love to pour into you guys. I like to pour into you guys any month of the year, but I love doing it, particularly in the month of February. So short month, lots of value in the month of February. So we will be coming part 3 next week. Oh, I'm like, is next week? Is next week? No, not next week is not my travel week. Nope. Yep. So I will be coming next week. Next week is the 15th. So I'll be here next week, the day after Love Day. And so hopefully you guys are all recovered and ready to go. Listen, if you have any questions on what we went over Trevor, you've got me all intrigued here. What is this? Use ChatGPT Chrome extensions and it'll blow your mind. Death as well. So I will absolutely be looking into Chrome extensions now that you've mentioned that. So there's so much to learn and do, and I am all here for it. And as I learn it, I'm gonna teach it. So you guys have a fabulous rest of your day. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you here next week, same bat channel. Have a great night. Talk to you soon.